Taking a look at a live shot from Singapore. This is where everything happened, and potentially the world has changed. History in the making, unexpectedly. Kim Jong-un and President Trump just a short time ago, a couple hours at this point, signing what they referred to as a joint document which clarifies future steps toward complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Details of exactly what's in that document continue to come in. Both leaders signing that document. And here to break down these major developments is national security analyst Rebecca Grant. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Lots of breaking news.
Great to be here.
So as we discuss this, I'm going to take a look at some of this as it rolls in, parts of what are in this document. It talks about the United States and DPRK commit to establish new U.S.-DPRK relations in accordance with the desire of the population of the peoples of the two countries for peace and prosperity. Goes on to talk about joint efforts to build a lasting and stable peace regime on the Korean Peninsula, but perhaps most importantly, as we've mentioned, it actually uses the word complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. So what are your thoughts about the day in general and then signing this joint document?
It's a great day. Trump and Kim have really clicked. And the joint document, I know people want to see more details, but I think the substance is there. North Korea has reaffirmed that they will denuclearize. Now, remember, with Ukraine, it took 4 years. So denuclearization means eventually we're going to have to see some spent uranium fuel rods. We'll have to see the North Korean nuclear scientists and missile engineers getting different jobs. But we are on track to do that. Pompeo and probably Kim Jong-chol will be meeting again to talk about the exact next steps.
Yeah, a couple other things in here. And earlier we were reading from this document that was from April 27th, 2018 that was signed. And they are reaffirming all of the things that were in this document that talked about North and South Korea agreeing to peaceful relations. It also goes on to talk about the United States and the DPRK commit to recovering POW MIA remains, including the immediate repatriation of those already identified.
Right, and that is absolutely huge, and every word is important. Commit to recovering remains. This means ultimately we may see teams that go in on the ground. The North Korean, the Korean War POWs, there were camps, there were marches. There's a lot of terrain to look over, and to me this document opens the door to let the Department of Defense POW MIA agency get to work on wrapping up what happened with Korea.
Yeah,
so that's very big.
Yeah, that had been mentioned as a major concern. Also, human rights violations, and in the details that I'm seeing right here, none of that mentioned at this point. We had been told that would not be broached in this specific conversation, but that would come further down the line.
Right. Trump has been quite consistent on that now for a few weeks, that is something that he has not yet broached. We expect to see this later on. And Heather, there will be a lot of other details. I'm really looking to see the North Korea, South Korea military talks. North Korea said they will come to those. That will be happening here before too long. That's a very significant next step.
And I wanted to ask about that because I mentioned that earlier when I was reading from some of this document from April 27th, where it talked about alleviating the acute military tension and practically eliminating the danger of war on the Korean Peninsula. We have troops stationed in South Korea. We do those military drills annually. So what would this mean for all of that? Obviously, we don't know yet.
Right, 28,000 U.S. forces stationed in South Korea. And right now, let me tell you, all the fighter pilots at Osan Air Force Base just took a big, deep breath. We're talking denuclearization, but we must also, over time, decrease military tensions. Kim Jong-un retains a very large army, lots of field artillery, stunning cyber weapons. So the long-term posture of security is something that has to be worked out. We've got to get that conventional piece under control also.
Yeah, what a remarkable day. We're going to have much more to come after this break. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lots to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.